you all just bore witness to, I'm an expert dinosaur catcher. Been doing it for years, and it normally costs you a pretty penny to witness something like that, but, since we're classmates, I'll do it for free. And since I'm a dinosaur catching expert, that makes me just the person to talk to you all about logical fallacies. I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? So, as you likely surmised from me telling you just a moment ago, I'm going to be talking to you guys about logical fallacies. They have a long and storied past, dating thousands of years, and many great philosophers have talked about them. We don't have nearly that much time, so we're just going to be focusing on false cause and ambiguity. Not nearly enough time for anything else. Have you ever heard something that just makes you want to shake your head and look at somebody and go, no, just no? Well, maybe you heard something along the lines of, I've never been sunburned in my life, and I got sunburned for the first time last Tuesday when I wore sunscreen. I'm never wearing sunscreen again. The reason that you felt like face palming is they committed a hodgepodge of logical fallacies. There are so many in there that it's going to take a little while to unravel. In order to better understand why that elicits that reaction, we're going to be talking about the false cause logical fallacy. You may have heard the phrase, correlation does not equal causation. It's a pretty common phrase, but what if I told all of you, and here's the kicker, nearly everyone who has heard that phrase has died before the age of 100. Let that sink in for a moment. Sounds to me like the secret to long life is never hearing that phrase. Sorry, by the way. I had to. I'm sorry. I'm so truly sorry. As it turns out, I've just committed a logical fallacy by thinking that because these two things seem related, that one of them causes the other. That's not true, and it leads to all kinds of interesting things. The false cause logical fallacy is actually quite common, and logical fallacies in general are often seen in politics or advertising. You may start to notice them after this. Here's another one. Yoga, my next class, makes me yawn for the first 30 minutes. Doesn't matter what I do, what stretches we're doing, I yawn for the first 30 minutes. If I wanted to commit a false cause logical fallacy, I could say, yoga makes me yawn for the first 30 minutes. But we don't know that it's yoga, so we still can't say that. We don't know that one causes the other, even though it does sound more reasonable. Now, my expert abilities also conveniently include being a psychic now, and I can see that most of you are ready to move on. So we're going to be talking about ambiguity. As the great Groucho Marx said in the 1930s film Animal Crackers, one morning I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got into them, I'll never know. The funny thing about that is, because he's making that ambiguous statement, there's more than one possible meaning. Most of you probably heard that phrase and thought, oh, so Groucho's wearing his pajamas and he shot an elephant in the morning. That makes sense. The humor lies in the fact that he subverted your expectations and he took the alternate meaning of that sentence. That the elephant somehow fit in his pajamas, or he has giant pajamas, who knows? You see, ambiguity is usually best avoided, but sometimes for humor, it can be quite useful. In the professional realm, however, it turns up in surprising ways. In a July 1st, 2015 Washington Post article, the 12th District Court of Appeals in Ohio recently ruled on a city ordinance case. There was an ambiguous sentence in there, and what it boils down to is that a woman parked her truck on the side of the road for 24 hours and received a citation. She argued that because it said any motor vehicle camper, trailer, farm implement, and or non-motorized vehicle couldn't be parked for more than 24 hours, she was exempt because her truck is not a motor vehicle camper. Basically, they missed a comma, she got out of her ticket, and they had to rewrite the city ordinance. Pay attention to the ambiguous statements that you're making. Knowing how to recognize and make use of ambiguity is a surprisingly useful tool, whether you need to be downright hilarious like Groucho Marx, or somehow avoid legal trouble. Or, not let people get out of legal trouble by having an ambiguous city ordinance. There's a lot to ambiguity, and once you really figure it out and you get into the deeper roots of it, and you maybe understand a little bit of syntax and why these things happen, you can have discussions on sentences like your interpretation of the sentence, the cat chased the rat with the knife. That's another ambiguous one. I'll let that stew for you guys. But we've covered just two of the many, many logical fallacies out there. You'll probably start to recognize them a little bit more now that you've heard them. Likely you've already been recognizing them for quite some time because they are quite common. But by talking about these two, you should feel a little better able to recognize them in general. So it's about time we wrap this up and we get this over with. Or wait, hold on a minute. In my rush to teach you guys about logical fallacies, I forgot about the most important part, dinosaur capture. Well, I don't think I have time for that, so that'll have to wait for another time. I guess we can move on. Just trust me that it's important. Valuable life skill. Well, now that we've covered two of the false causes, or two of the logical fallacies, false cause and ambiguity, let's do a very quick recap. Correlation does not equal causation. Even when you have great graphs that show that global warming can be attributed to the number of pirates in the world. As the number of pirates have gone down, global temperatures have risen. Obviously, we need more pirates to fix this situation. Thank you, Somalia. Knowing how to use and make use of ambiguity can lead to all kinds of useful perks, whether it's humor or legal trouble, as we've already discovered. And just being able to recognize them means that you're understanding the sentence on a deeper level, which is very important. So I want to thank all of you by sitting here and listening to the ramblings of this old man. You've hopefully learned a little bit about logical fallacies, and your potential to recognize them has improved. In the wise words of Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.